we go. So my name is Tuuli Kaskinen and I'm working for Demos Helsinki think tank. I'm not working with data, I'm not working with technological issues, but I'm working with future, which naturally, of course, brings all these topics together. But I have to say that I'm not the specialist on these topics. I'm a specialist on future and the future of society. And that's what I'm about to talk to you now. That's why also I'm welcoming you to 2040. That's the step in future where we are going now. And my idea is to talk about Internet of No Things, which is of course a good question what it is about. But I think most of you have been talking about Internet of Things, and there will be a session of it also tomorrow. But I would say the even more interesting thing from point of view of people is the question of what happens when Internet is not anymore in things. When was it last time when you watched your phone? I can see quite many of you having it all the time here. When you think about normal Saturday, how often do you take a look at your phone? How do you think about that? Every minute, every 10 minutes, couple of hours in between? And very typically, we look at our phones in every 6 minutes. Not only here, but in our everyday life, we take our phone in front of us every 6 minutes. We check emails, we check Facebook, we check Twitter, we check da. Then we put it away, and then in 6 minutes again, we have something to do with our phones. So phones are present in our everyday life quite heavily. I'm here saying that soon we will never look at our phones. And that is because the sensors will be around us. They will not be carried by us as we are carrying the phones and the laptops and all of that. But it will be the surroundings that know where I am, what I'm doing, what I would like to do, what I normally do after this, and all of that kind of things. Why this Internet of No Things is then happening, that's quite easy to know. This is one of the first computers that was transformed from one place to other, and still it was quite small in its abilities. At the moment in iPhone we have quite a lot of different kind of things. Actually, I would say all of that kind of things. We dreamed in 80s and 90s. We looked at these advertisements and had this feeling, I would like to have that and that and that and that and that. We have all of that and of course much more in our phone nowadays. So there is tech worth of hundreds of thousands in any smartphone. Which means that, and why is that the price and size of the sensors has been going down, and at the same time the functionalities of them has been going up. It's a long story that kind of started from mainframe computers, one that we kind of saw there, personal computers, smartphones, smartwatches, wearables, nearables, we talk in this conference as well, smart environments, smart dust we have even heard. And when we take a look at the world that exists when the sensors are all around us, we talk about hyperconnected planet. And that's a topic we have been researching and doing work in Demos Helsinki, and that's why I'm talking about it here today. So the kind of law of hyperconnected planet is that the same time as the size and at the same time the size and price of computing devices drop and their functionalities are going up, and that leads into this kind of situation where we probably don't need the devices as we need now. In this research project, which we have been going together with some of the smartest technological guys in Finland, from Aalto University, from VTT, and from a couple of other universities, the idea has been to create laboratories and labs where you can test the solutions that then exist when we don't need devices. Actually, the project is called Naked Approach, And it has this kind of reference to the thing that we are naked from all these devices, because it can be the table, it can be the floor, it can be whatever that is in touch with us and through which we make the things happening, and which are those things that collect the data. And how this world is then coming, if we can say that in 10 or 20 years, actually quite soon it might be that there are surroundings that work as devices for us. Of course, first step is that everything electric is connected. And that's already quite easy. We know we have toothbrushes, electrical toothbrushes with Bluetooth and all that kind of things. It's already here pretty much. Then the question of how everything kind of man-made can be part of that Internet of No Things world. And then on third phase, and that's, I think, the most interesting one, also those things that are not man-made can be connected. In that project, there has been discussion, like in Finland, where we have endless amounts of forests. Should we be able to drop sensors around the country? And should we, through them, be able to know what's the situation in the forests, what happens, which of the trees are those that should be taken away and which ones should be left, what would be good from economical point of view, what would be good from environmental point of view, and how that data could be used. Of course, we know that at the moment it's not possible. The greatest challenge is the question of energy, and I'll come back to that soon. But if we think about 20 or 30 years ahead, it is possible that these kind of things happen. There is two kind of thinking we can have. Either we think it's horrible future. It's horrible, you cannot go anywhere without someone knowing what you are doing. Or then we can, of course, think that it's wonderful future. You never leave your keys back home anymore, and you never do that kind of things we are challenged at our everyday life nowadays. And I would say it's both. There are great options to make this future to really be horrible, but there are also great options to make it to be somehow wonderful. And that's why we wrote this report called Future as Told Through Garden and Through the Garden and the Streets. There are two scenarios. One is called the garden and the other one is called the streets. And we have made them to be kind of scenarios for the hyper-connected Nordic societies in the future. Because here in Nordic countries, we actually have been able to create kind of nice society in many ways. Like, you know, when we from Finland or Sweden are traveling around, the thing people are asking most is like, how is it possible that you have those very tiny social, the social structure is not that divided as it's in other countries? How is it possible that you always win all these when they are measuring which country is best? It's always Sweden or Denmark or Finland. Sometimes Switzerland or Austria, but it's because they are pretty much like Nordic countries. So we have been able to create something special during past, let's say, past 60 or 70 years. And of course the question is in this future, is it possible to create a Nordic model, which of course then in the end could be a global model, that would be somehow good for the society and good for people who are part of it. And I'll here present kind of 5 key tensions of this hyper-connected planet. What should we be, what are the questions that should be solved to be able to make this planet and this hyper-connected society to be more like wonderful than horrible? Of course, the first one is this question of how about the planetary boundaries, how we are facing them. Nokia, which is one of the interesting companies in this field in Finland, is saying that their vision is not able to become through without energy harvesting sensors to exist. If each and every sensor needs energy, the energy we would need is so huge amount that we will not be able to cover that. So the question of how to make this environmentally sustainable, how to produce the energy that is needed is crucial. In the research project, we are working with the technological side of the team, is working with the energy harvesting sensors that would harvest energy from movement or from heat around it that could make them to work also without external energy. Is that something that will happen? Is of course very crucial. Other tension is like, will this cause increased human capabilities for all, or is it going to be more for some? And of course, as we are talking about the new business models, we know how Airbnbs and Ubers are working, we know how they are collecting both assets and income to certain hands. The big question is how we are about to share both the capabilities and the income that comes from that world. We have been working quite a lot with basic income, and actually Finnish government also published a tiny basic income experience last week, and it's one interesting step when we are talking about this world, and that has to be solved somehow, because it might be that we are not able to share this in a nice way with the social security system we have at the moment. Is this converging markets, or is it creating fragmenting structures? Who are those in whose hands the decision making and in the market is in the future? Probably the laws we have on that are not in right place at the moment. Is it liberation from labor, or is it end of work? If you have been reading Finnish newspapers or newspapers from any of your country, you have been seeing this: all of the job is over, there will be no job as we knew it. And I pretty much agree, that's the thing. We will not have the jobs in a way we have seen by now, but is it liberation, or is it very dividing and a horrible issue for a big part of the society? Is still an open question. And as a fifth thing, we come back to what our earlier speakers mostly spoke. Is it about liberties, or is it about security? How are we able to solve the question, am I powerful and capable to do my own things, or should I be behind walls not to be able to do what I would like to, and am I forced by some bigger forces in what I do with my data, but also in what I do as my work or as my everyday life. 5 not too easy questions. I was asked here to speak about what are the challenges, and I pretty much, that was what I did. The only kind of solution part I would like to show you is this one. I think we have pretty much 2 options. One is to go with the conservative agenda that would be going like, let's not do that, let's not do that, let's not do that, let's not do that. I'm sure we need that kind of new legislation, but I would love that to be seen as to be put in place in progressive way. So we need to solve the pressing problems of the humanity with these solutions we have, with the new technology, and make sure that we don't put the values we have as a global community, that we have as a Nordic community, that we don't put them away, but we keep them in the discussions when we think about how the future should look like. And that's it. Thank you very much. Have a very nice conference.